Yeah, there's a little secret sauce in this thing. So what's happening, guys? Hope your day is going well. Today we're going to review a pre-workout. But before we get into this, if you're new to the channel, my name is David. This is my mission of muscle. I'll go over the ingredients on supplements so you guys know what the hell you're putting in your body. And I go over the effects, just in case you're curious about it. If you're interested in stuff like that, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you subscribe to the channel and go along with the journey and leave comments down below if you guys have any questions or anything like that. But jumping right into this. This thing's got a little secret sauce in it. I texted my man, GGH texted me the other day. And he was like, just asking me some questions. And before it got too far along, I just texted him back because I didn't know my head from my ass at that point because I was on this pre-workout. I said, I'm on something. He's like, what are you on? I go, I'm on Gaspari Nutrition's SuperPump Aggression. So he's like, I thought there was a little something special in that thing. And yeah, there's a little secret sauce in this thing. This thing has a lipid modulator in it, which we'll get into. I'm going to get into the ingredients. But let's put the ingredient profile in front of me so we can jump into this, get this review going, and get into the effects. We got one scoop at 18 grams at 25 servings. Not bad, but this is not 18 grams on a flat level pack scoop. It's 20. So you're 2 grams over. So if you want, trying to keep the stim tolerance to what's in this package here, you got to throw it on the scale to get that 18 grams. I took it either way. I took it at 20 grams. I took it at 18 grams twice. And it pretty much hit basically the same way. So I didn't feel a difference. But it hits the central nervous system pretty good on these ingredients in here. So be careful. So right on the top here we have 4 grams of L-citrulline. This is for vasodilation and pump. So this is going to increase eNOS, which is going to help with the vasodilation and the vasodilation, for more nutrient delivery to the muscle, more oxygen to the muscles, which then in turn is going to help with more ATP production. This is also going to be an ammonia regulator. So when you're getting that burn in the gym, that's the metabolite that causes that burn that is so intense that you stop training. So regulating ammonia is going to hopefully help you push out a few more reps and sets. Then we got beta-alanine at 3.2 grams. This is the itching and scratching ingredient, the more reps, the more sets in the gym. And it does this, as far as the more reps and more sets in the gym, by controlling a metabolite that builds up in the muscle called hydrogen. And when hydrogen builds up in the muscle too much, it throws off the pH balance and makes the muscle too acidic. And when the muscle gets acidic, it messes with the contractional capability of the muscle. So you start losing that capability to contract it anymore. So basically your reps just stop. So this helps you power through your workout with a little more reps and a little more sets. Then we got betaine anhydrous at 3 grams. This is a cell hydrator or balancer. So this is going to hydrate the cells, which is going to help with endurance and power output in the gym. This is also an osmolalite and a methyl donor. So this helps with creatine synthesis, natural creatine synthesis. And this helps with vitamin absorption, helps with DNA and RNA repair as well. So fabulous ingredient, got a lot of other health benefits to it as well, but we don't want to make this too long, so we're going to move on. We got L-tyrosine at 1,500 milligrams, 1.5 grams of L-tyrosine. So this is a precursor to dopamine. It goes from tyrosine to L-dopa and then to dopamine to create cognitive function and focus by increasing dopamine levels in the brain. And any excess dopamine that's not being used is then converted into norepinephrine and epinephrine. And this is going to help control cognitive function under stressful conditions and keep it elevated, keep it concentrated in the gym as you're powering out through everything. This also converts into another chemical that helps with thyroid production. If you have a problem with your thyroid, if your thyroid is low, slow functioning, not like where you need prescription medicine to it, but let's say your diet's off, you're stressed, you're fatigued, this can regulate your thyroid, bring up your T4 levels and your T3 levels. Then we have a lipid modulator. This is the secret sauce right here. 500 milligrams of N-palmitoyl-ethylamine. 500 milligrams. So this is a lipid modulator. So we have phenethylamine, which is a neuromodulator. And it works differently off of different receptors, the TAR receptors, to cause its function. We got erythrogenesis, the same thing. It's a neuromodulator. This is a lipid modulator. So this actually has been studied to be a replacement for CBD, because there's some studies coming out with CBD that aren't too good. So they were finding some kind of healthier alternative. Now we have a system in our body, and this system is called the endocannabinoid system. And basically there's a bunch of receptors. They're involved with the central nervous system. And that's the CB1 and CB2 receptors are within this particular system in our body. And CBD oil basically acts directly on these receptors, CB1 and CB2, to create the effects, anti-inflammatory effects and other effects, pain relief effects in the body. This particular ingredient acts indirectly by targeting PPAR receptors in the body and GPR55 receptors. And basically what it does is it enhances the production of an anti-inflammatory substance called AEAs. And these are basically called the bliss molecules in the body. And when these are released, they actually help with stress, they help with inflammation, they have all kinds of different responses in the body depending on how they're activating in the body. And our body naturally actually produces this chemical under stressful conditions, when we're injured, when we're inflamed. It's already producing this. So this is a naturally occurring substance. This is a lipid that is found in like egg yolks and other things as far as in the diet. So fantastic that it's a natural substance that they're coming out with, and they threw in this thing. But it's really interesting. I was diving deep because I was diving deep with this thing, deep, because I wanted to see why this thing slaps so hard. So diving. I guess these receptors, these CB1 and CB2, are all over the body, and they're in the brain, they're in the body. So it controls inflammation to the point to where other actions happen. And one action that happens in the brain is brain nootropic factor protein is increased in the brain, that they found in studies for that cognitive function and focus. It's kind of like that focus that you might get from lion's mane or from Newpept or something like that, to where it's enhancing the productivity of neural function and neuron health in the brain. So targeting the cerebral cortex in the brain. So it gives a hit, and it is a central nervous system hit, because this is all based within the central nervous system. So it's going to peak some kind of an energy response when it's coupled with other ingredients, which this does. And when they call it aggression, we'll get into the mood and all that stuff on the effects. But this is the secret sauce for how this thing hits, because this profile doesn't kind of resemble the effects too much. A little bit. But you have to be on this to actually understand what I'm talking about. We got caffeine anhydrous, 400 milligrams. This is an adenosine blocker. This blocks the adenosine receptors. It also helps enhance caffeine production, or not caffeine, calcium production in the muscles for contraction. So it wakes you up, makes you stronger. Then we have theobromine at 200 milligrams. I like that dose. The theobromine has been studied that it increases blood flow for up to 2 hours in certain regions of the brain. And when it does this, it improves for that 2-hour time frame cognitive function, memory, and it also, during that time frame, it's been shown to help prevent neurodegeneration. So it protects neurons. This is also going to help as a natural diuretic. It's going to increase the pumps and the output in the gym as well. Then we have choline bitartrate at 100 milligrams. This is one of my favorite choline sources. I know it's considered the cheaper form for stim junkie type prees, because this is a precursor to acetylcholine. So it's not really well dissolved, doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier, but it has other functions in the body. So there was a study done in Netherlands where they found they took a group of people on a placebo and on this, as far as choline bitartrate, and they found that their speed and accuracy through a target study, throwing objects at a target. Don't know what it was, if it was darts or, whatever it was, spears. I don't know what they have in the Netherlands. Probably axes. They were throwing at a target, but it increased the speed and accuracy of those that were taking this product, because it altered the cholinergic functions in the nervous system for them. So I love choline bitartrate. I don't want to make this video too long, so we'll stop right there. But it's fantastic. You see it in a Stim Junkie Pre, it belongs there. Then we have DMAE at 100 milligrams, another great ingredient. Now, people think that this is a precursor to choline, but it's actually not. This eliminates cellular waste that accumulates in brain cells. It also decreases alpha brain waves. Those are the brain waves that I hate to be increased from L-theanine. They really kind of like dial your mood down. They put you in a dialed position to think and process in a slower fashion. So this particular ingredient, coupled with like choline barbiturate and some of these, is going to keep your brain sped up. So it's not going to be slowed down. You're not going to get any crashes or feel kind of wonky in the gym with this particular ingredient. Then we got black pepper extract at 5 milligrams. This is to bring it all together in a digestion ingredient. Helps with everything digesting. Then we got alpha yo at 3 milligrams. 3 milligrams. This is a alpha 2 receptor agonist. Alpha 2 receptor cells in the fat tissue actually bring fat in. The beta receptor cells release fat. So that's their function. Bring in, release. So this is an agonist to the cells. And basically what it does is it antagonizes the cells. Whenever you get that going on, it causes them to keep and release, keep and release. So it throws off our system. It's releasing fat for fat loss. And then it spikes up other processes in the body. So when that fat's starting to be released out of there, it increases CAMP, protein kinase A, which then cause other cellular functions in the body for adrenaline responses, neuroepinephrine and epinephrine responses for those head hits that you get off alpha yo. It's a really good ingredient, 3 milligrams. I'm going to tell you right now because I might forget to tell you when I get into the effects. Not trying to make this long. This is just cut the effects down a little bit here. You feel the alpha yo. It's 3 milligrams. It's good quality alpha yo, but it's not horrible. So I'm going to tell you right now, 3 days taking this, I got none of the stuffy running nose or anything like that. I got no crazy chills or anything like that. What I got was a coldness that came in and sweating when it kicked in. So I was literally sitting down in my socks and my feet were on some tile. I'm moving my feet and it was at a certain point. And you'll know when I talk about the effects, because when I talk about this, it's going to be around 20 minutes and there was sweat underneath my feet in about 20 minutes. So it really kicks up that thermogenic process there. So, but not horrible, and I'm kind of sensitive to it. So the other ingredients in here kind of altered the effects, the bad effects of the alpha yo, in my opinion. Then we have heparin A at 2 milligrams. This blocks an enzyme, ACHE, which breaks down acetylcholine. So by blocking this enzyme, it keeps acetylcholine elevated, keeps the cognitive function and focus elevated for a longer period of time. So, jumping right into this, we got SuperPump Aggression, right into the effects. How did this do? So you're going to take the scoop, and the beta-alanine actually kicks in about 7 minutes each time. Each time, it kicked in about 7 minutes, and it reached to a medium-high level in about 10 minutes, and it stays about that point. So you're going to get some warmth and some tingles. I didn't get any kind of scratching on this thing, but I got the tingles and got the burning for about 30 minutes. It wasn't horrible, but it was a medium high. It wasn't high. It was a medium high hit, 30 minutes, and starts tapering down and then goes away. Probably about 45 minutes. It kind of gets lost in everything else. About 20 minutes in is when the energy kicks in. That's when the alpha yo kicks in. That's when the lipid modulator PEA kicks in, because you start to feel underlying energy that starts to build up until about 30 minutes. This is quick. So if you want something that slaps and gets you moving really fast, this is the one to do. Within that 10-minute time frame, from 20 to 30 minutes, it's like the engine is revving up and warming up. And as it gets closer to 30 minutes, you're just sitting around, vroom, 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 and your body's just kind of like ready to go. So the anxious feeling is just like there. And it gets pretty intense at that 30-minute mark to where you want to get going into the gym. So today, I waited around for an hour before I sat through that. Walked around, sat through that feeling. I wanted to see if it went away, because this lipid PEA that's in here, this secret sauce, is supposed to have a half-life of 25 minutes. So I figured in my mind, I'm like, when it kicks in, that means 25 minutes. That's when it starts to taper off. That's the half-life. So I shouldn't have to go through this longer than 30 minutes. And just so you know, the anxious feeling starts to die down. So it kicks in at 30 minutes. And starts to die off about 45 or 50 minutes. Starts to taper away. But it tapers off into a high-level, energetic energy that, coupled with the focus that I'm going to tell you, and the mood, that you just crushed it in the gym. And this thing is a central nervous system hitter. This hits the central nervous system, so this energy effect, this kind of like wound up type feeling, not too crazy, but like you got this energy that's little beyond caffeine, sticks with you for a good 5-6 hours from initially taking it. So don't take this after 5 o'clock at night. This is not a pre-workout to do that. The cognitive function of focus is super, kind of goes along with the mood. It's super smooth. It's just super dialed in the zone, in your head, and super wired. So you're wired energy-wise, and your brain is wired at the same time. So you can talk fast, you're thinking fast, and you're zoned in because it's really productive. So that energy is all just kind of drawn into like one particular item. So when you're training, you're just going, but it's almost like a time machine in a way. It manipulates your perception of time. You feel like things are taking longer. So you're sitting there hitting the weights and and the sets a lot quicker because you have this feeling like you've been sitting way too long. so it's just really wired. Everything's just like really wired. Not crazy. It's just the description I'm trying to give you. It's all kind of like everything's medium high on this thing. And that cognitive function and focus and that wired feeling actually stays with you for another 6 hours. It's the same as the energy. It's kind of couples together. And the mood on this thing, this gives you a great well-being. You feel good. And be honest with you, 8 hours. You're going to feel good all day. Like, it really keeps your mood up. And it's not kind of like that dopamine type mood. It's more of just a sense of well-being that I honestly feels like it comes mostly from like that alpha yo sense of well-being that you might get that just sticks all day long. It's just a really good coupling as far as all that goes. Pumps on this thing. It's called SuperPump Aggression. It's got to have some pumps. These are those dry pumps. So you're not going to get any kind of cell swelling. You're going to get dry pumps, and you're going to get vascularity on this. So you're going to get veins popping out if you're thin enough, and you're going to be dry on this thing. But nothing too crazy. It's just that leanness there. So somebody asked me the other day, they DM'd me, what pre-workout would I choose if I was in a contest prep and I was trying to lose weight? And there's multiple ones out there. But at the time, it was my third day running this, and I was like, Gaspari Aggression. And the reason why is because this is going to blunt your appetite. It's going to keep you moving in a caloric deficit for sure. And it's the Stim Junkie Pre. And it does pack a punch and does deliver. So if you're looking for something like this, Stim Junkie, something that it doesn't have DMHA or DMAA, then this is probably something that, if you have the money and you want to try something new, this is definitely something you can try. I don't have any discount codes. I don't get anything from this. I don't have any special links or anything like that, but I'll put down below where I got it from. I think I got it from Amazon, but I'll put the link down below just in case you guys are curious about it. Other than that, this is Dave. I'm going to finish up this review, go up and get myself something to eat, and I'll see you guys next time on the channel.